Well, we've got our coal being turned into coke, which is our first step in making the materials to make the arc furnace. And the next thing we need to do is we need to make an industrial crusher to crush the coke into coke dust. The crusher is a multi-block structure, and we need to know how to build it. And for that, we can look in the engineer's manual. It has a page on it. Several pages, probably. First, we need to make the actual manual. We can get paper from sawdust, and we can get sawdust by throwing wood in the pulverizer. Also, instead of making the book out of leather, which we don't have a lot of, we can make it out of some patterns and slime balls. There's a lever. There's a book and a lever. Equals engineer's manual. Over here, under heavy machines, you've got a layout of how to build the crusher. You could build it just by looking at this diagram, but the other thing we can do is make a projector. A projector will make a sort of 3D holographic image of the thing. You can put the hologram where you want it, and just put the blocks in the spot in the hologram where they need to go. That was terribly explained. Now we need some iron plates, or iron sheets. There are machines we can make them with. We could make it in the casting table. We can also just beat the shit out of it with a hammer. Smack, smack. We need some glass panes. We need some ass. And we actually out of sand. We're out of sand. Amazing. Well, let's program the system to turn gravel into sand using the pulverizer. One gravel equals one sand. Now, one of the other things we need is some treated wood. And to get treated wood, we need some of this creosote oil, which is a byproduct of making coke from coal. Now, normally, the way you make treated wood is just put down 8 planks and a bucket of creosote in the middle. But you can also just put a tank of creosote oil in the center, and it will use just enough to make one batch. Basically, you just took one bucket of creosote oil out of the tank and used it to make some treated wood. And there's our lantern, and I just need one more bit of ass. One more bit of ass. I need a piece of ass. And we have a projector. Now, the way the projector works is, you just open the menu, select the machine you want, which in this case is the crusher, and get the checkbox. There we go. Now, in the UI, you can sort of select which way you want it to be rotated. Unfortunately, the preview does not update, which is unfortunate. So, it's going to be kind of a process of trial and error. You can also mirror it. You can shift mouse wheel to rotate it. That's handy. Okay. Now we need to actually make the components for the crusher in order to build it. If you hover over the question mark, that will give you the list. I'm just going to screenshot it and stick it on my other monitor. This is going to involve programming a bunch of stuff into the ME system. The first of which is probably going to be steel. Now, as previously discussed, I think, we can get steel in the induction smelter by mixing iron with 4 charcoal dust. Or 4 coal dust. But charcoal's cheaper. So let's just program the system to make charcoal, and then program it to make charcoal dust. Finally, 1 iron. That's 4 charcoal dusts. Unfortunately, I don't have a sample of steel to program the system with. So I guess the first thing I have to do is make some more. Here's a complete cheat. I'm just going to load a pattern from JEI that says that steel dust smelts into steel ingot. But then, I'm just going to pull the rug out from under it and just use my existing supplies here. I'm just going to reprogram the input for this recipe. So I should now just be able to order up steel ingots. So we're just going to program a bunch of stuff in the system here. We need steel scaffolding. Steel and steel rods. Let's get another batch of patterns going if we have the supplies, which we don't, of course. We're almost out of glowstone. Well, so I'm going to stop for a moment and go rectify that situation. Ah, what the... Oh, fuck, I'm dead. I'm not dead. Wow. That went real bad real fast. Let's try that again. Hopefully there won't be an Enderman waiting for me. Here's a bit. Ha! Ha! Now these assholes are just sitting around waiting for me. What are you doing outside of a stronghold? Ow. Fuck you. Fuck you, fuckface. Dinosaur bones, I think. I think that's what those are. I'm going to yoink a few of you. Ha! You missed. Oh. Oh. Well. Batter up. Damn it, you're probably too far away. Ow. Oh god, okay. Nope, fuck you. Fuck all of you. Got a couple stacks of glowstone, not bad. Let's halt you for a moment. See if we can make some more patterns now. Yes. Excellent. While our machines are working, I'm going to start working on a little upgrade for our ME system. I'm going to run a cable over into this corner. And what we're ultimately going to do, we're going to move these crafting units here into a corner and expand them a bit. I'm laying the cable in preparation for that. I'm going to make some dyed cable. 1 dye plus 8 cable equals 8 dyed cables. Do I have any red dye handy? No. Now, the reason for this is, you can see from this smart cable, we're using all 8 channels on it. We have it at capacity. So what I would like to do, I'm going to use colored cables. I'm going to put... Does this trick work? There! Yes, that trick does work. I'm going to put a blue cable there. I'm going to put a cable here. I'm going to put red cables here. That's not going to work. I'm going to stick a cable anchor here. And what that cable anchor there is going to do is it's going to prevent those cables from connecting. That's one of the things a cable anchor does. It makes facades, prevents cables from connecting to each other, prevents cables from connecting to machines, and I made these cables a different color so they don't connect to each other. So now, this cable run here is separate from this cable run here. And our coke is done. Well, that's a power sink we won't be using for a little bit. Let's make another smart cable. Let's stick it here. So now we can see this cable run is full. This cable run is wide open. So let's move these crafting units over there. Let's set it up like this. There, there, and there. Eventually there'll be one there too. Now there's room for expansion there. And let's make this cable run a little less dumb. So now, we should be in a position where we can just order up the parts we need. And it's going to take forever, because I have to craft all this shit. So this is going to take a while. We should work on something productive while the machines are going. Like maybe, Britannia, reasonable option, or Ars Noveau, both reasonable options. So Ars Noveau is kind of a recreation of Ars Magica for 1.16. You can create spell books and create your own sort of custom spells with it. And it also has some, it has its own sort of tech tree, or magic tree as the case may be. So the first thing we do is we need to generate source energy. Source energy is kind of the mana, if you will, of Ars Noveau. It's used for a number of magical processes. The next thing I'm going to do needs a bucket of lava, so we're just going to steal some from the smeltery. We are going to make a volcanic source link, which generates source energy from burnable fuels. And we need a source jar, which is basically a thing to store source energy. Now, the way this works is, you stick the jar on the ground, stick the source link on top of it. Ah! You throw it on the ground at the thing is what happens. And you can see the tooltip at the left, almost covered up by the Wayla box. As we have 26, this jar is now 26% full. I'm going to make the guidebook for Ars Noveau. And I can maybe show you some basic spell casting. First we need to create a spell book. It's basically a book and your basic set of iron tools. I'm going to create a spell. You hit C to open your spell book, and you can create a basic spell. First you need to create a form. A form kind of determines what a spell targets. A spell with a touch form will act on something you touch, basically something at melee distance. A self form is a spell that will act on you, like healing, for instance, is a good one. And projectile shoots a basic projectile, and the spell will take effect on whatever it hits. Then effect selects what the spell will do. You can harm something, like an enemy, or you can break something, like digging a block. Let's make a basic dig spell, which would be, touch break. Digger. Let's call it Digger. And you can have, several spells in your spellbook, and select between them by hitting the tabs on the right. Or using the, V key, which will give you a menu to select them. Now let's just use our basic digger spell to dig some dirt. Right click on a thing, block, it breaks. Zap. Zap, zap. Now you notice your mana bar down on the left. Despite what I said earlier, source energy is not the same as mana. Your mana, that sort of slowly regenerates over time. As you can see as I break some blocks. Now you will see we have a limited selection of spell effects. But by creating this thing called the Glyph Press, we can learn new magical effects. If we just plonk it down near our source jar and feed it the appropriate materials, we can craft glyphs which we can add to our spellbook. Here's a very simple glyph we can make. Glyph of Conjure Mage Light. We need magic clay, which is just some clay, source gem, and redstone. And we need a lantern. Now, if we put the clay in, put the lantern in, and we have enough source, we have the Glyph of Summon Mage Light. Use it and we've unlocked it. And now, we should have this as an option. So let's create a spell called Light. Touch, Conjure Mage Light. Now, if I understand what I read in the manual, if you just use this, it creates a magical light. Nice. I think you can just punch it to get rid of it. Yes. This will save us having to make a million torches. There's another thing you can do with this Conjure Mage Light. That is Self Conjure Mage Light. If you use that, you get 30 seconds of night vision, which could also be very handy. We should have enough iron for what we want to do next, which is 10 light engineering blocks. We need 60 iron plates. See if one hammer has enough durability to do all of it. Yes, it does. Alright. This doesn't require smelting steel or anything like that, so this should be fairly quick. You also need a redstone engineering block, which will need 4 more iron plates. And smack. And once again, that's quick. And we need fences. We need 8 steel fences. And that will take a bit while it brews up the steel. Now we're going to make a Glyph of Ignite. Not because we want to use it in spellcasting, although that could be useful, but we need it to craft a thing. The Glyph of Ignite is simple enough. Some of that magic clay and a lighter. Drop in the clay, drop in the lighter. Try not to set the thing on fire. And there that is. You also need to make an enchanting apparatus. This is not entirely unlike the Thaumcraft Infusion Altar. Basically, it lets you combine several things to make new things. It's a crafting system, basically. Oh, we need soul soil. Did I pick up any of that? I did. We need these 4 things. Soul sand, soul soil, soul torch. Alright, we have the bits we need. Let's take all this downstairs. I assume I need source for this. And I need to make a sort of infusion setup, and we need more space than I have in the house. Okay, so the way this works is the arcane core down. Not there. You put the apparatus on top of it. And you put pedestals nearby. You put this. And this. And this. On the pedestals. We put a soul torch in the apparatus. And poof. We get a new item out of it. The Dark Lighter. Now, what we do with this is... Oh wow. This has not been F7 proof. That's lame. You know what to do about that. I'm going to dig out a portal frame. Same shape as another portal frame. I'm going to build it out of soul sand. And use this to ignite it. So we have a portal to our next dimension. One of our next dimensions, anyway. Let's go take a quick look. Oh, would you look at that? We spawned right next to the dungeon we were looking for. Well, let's also do this, just because we can. We're not going to tackle this right this second. But we're in. We've unlocked a new dimension. I'm going to do one more little spell here. Let's do projectile conjure mage light. If I understand this correctly. Let's find a nice dark area that needs a dark tending. Now, should be able to throw a light. Just fling a light into the darkness. Takes more mana, but I can light up big patches of dark area without having to actually venture into it myself. Can I light up this space way over there? Yes, I can. We can light up the darkness from afar. I forgot I had that there.